quiet part. I've covered a number of protests here at the Colorado State Capitol in Denver. And so far, most of the movements I've been out here to document and most notably usually support, I have been someone who is there on principle. I'm there because I'm against the concept of fascism, the concept of Nazism. I dislike bigotry, and I want to support trans rights and the rights of human beings and the fact that no person should ever be considered illegal. But today, it's personal. I have taught in Denver public schools for the past 3 years, for 2 years as a full-time science teacher, and now I float around the district as a substitute teacher instead. This is a protest to tell the state of Colorado that our schools cannot handle any more cuts. And the chant today is no more cuts. That is the title for this protest. Now, this protest in particular seems to have been organized and put on by the collective bargaining or union organizations throughout the state and local level. I believe the first is the Colorado Educators Association, which is a state-level union collective bargaining organization. Now, that is at the state level. At the local level, what we are seeing is a lot of red. That is in support of the Denver Classroom Teachers Association, or DCTA. That is the local union for Denver public schools. Now, if there's anything I know about teachers, it's that they tend to be punctual and they tend to be highly organized despite the level of stress they always find themselves under. And the number of people that have turned out today for just one category of job is extraordinary. Compared to some of the other protests, this is just as much turnout as more broad ones that affect what is on paper a larger number of people. But teachers are suffering regularly at the hands of cuts and conservative economic policy that defund our schools and get in the way of public education, jeopardizing the lives and income of hundreds and thousands of people that work in our school district. So I just got back from meeting up with my own former coworkers that continue to teach in Denver public schools just as I do. I spoke for a moment with a union representative about the structure of the union organization and the greater political context that has brought this protest about. And it sounds like the main issue right now is that Colorado at the state level has just finished looking at its budget, and it's come to realize that due to some changes in Social Security and other draws on state level funding, it sounds like there is a giant deficit that would have to be to the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars that the schools will not be seeing if this budget is ratified moving forward. Now, this doesn't exist entirely at a state level. There's a greater national context surrounding the continued push towards charters and private schools, the defunding of public education for the implementation of styles of private and charter schooling that would take public funding and push it into religious and otherwise non-public institutions. So people that want the privatization of public education are trying to use the current budget instability and the deficit and the supposed overspending of public schools as a reason to further defund them. That is the greater national context bringing this about, and that is why the unions and the teachers and the entirety of the Colorado public have come to the state capitol and other capitol buildings throughout cities in our state to protest this exact problem.
Funding issue. This is a justice issue. When they cut our budget, they're not cutting programs for rich white folks. They're cutting programs for black and brown kids. It's immoral. We're here today because we receive When we fight for living wage, we fight for the bus driver who can't afford health care. When we demand fully funded schools, we fight for the paraprofessional who works 3 jobs just to pay rent. When we push back against corporate interests, we fight for the students who depend on our schools for meals.
What a good song choice. That's so like teachers. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we